Welcome, ladies. I am so excited for today's live training because it's going to be a little bit different than we've done in the past. I'm actually streaming it through Zoom because I have a very special guest. So I'm going to make sure that all of the things are working on my end, because I know sometimes that can be a little bit tricky with the whole Zoom thing. So if you're just joining, say hello so that I can see you in the chat. And I'm going to go ahead and check my live stream here. As we're doing that, I'm going to actually check on my phone really quick. So say hello, give me some hearts if you are joining us. If you're joining us in the replay, then go ahead and type replay. And for those of you that are new to the group, my name is Stacy Peasall, and I'm a women's empowerment coach. And I help women who are looking to transform their relationship, their marriage, their romantic relationships so that they can have more time with more connection and better communication. And so that they really are able to have the life and the relationship that they've wanted. And today, I'm very excited because we're doing things a little different. We have a very special guest from our Wise Woman Mastermind who's going to be sharing her story. So I'm going to go ahead and check, just take a second and make sure that everything is streaming here. It looks like we're live. I'm going to check on my phone now. So maybe we can look here as well. Judy, if you're able to check out too, that would be great. Let's see.
Yeah, I think so.
Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. I don't know. Judy, are you able to see?
Show's live here.
It shows live?
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect, perfect. Well, for some reason, I am not seeing your comments, and maybe that's just because it is a Zoom thing. But in any event, it looks like we're live. We've got some great information and content for everyone today, and I know that you're really going to benefit. So I'm going to let you know at the beginning, I'm going to interview Judy, and I'm going to go through really just showcasing her transformation that she's experienced. How she, went from being kind of distant in her relationship to the closeness that she's experiencing now in a really short period of time. And she's going to talk a little bit about some communication, some freedom from some of her triggers. And then she's going to share a little bit about what her husband has noticed since she's joined the Wise Woman Mastermind, because I think it's really interesting. A lot of times we think that, we have to do things together. And in this program, we work just with women exclusively. And, sometimes the husbands know about it and sometimes they don't, but they don't really need to participate. So I'm going to be opening up some live Q&A afterwards. So if you've been curious about the Wise Woman Mastermind, if you've thought, I wonder what that's about, or even if you just would like to have some live coaching around your relationship, then this is your opportunity to do that, because I don't ordinarily open that up to the public. So you can come on live with Judy and I at the very end. And in fact, here's what I want you to do. Before I bring Judy on, I want you to hit the love button, give us some love, give Judy some love throughout this, because, when you're sharing your story, and it comes from your heart, especially when we're talking about relationships, it takes a lot of courage. So let's give her some love as she shares her story. And if there's something that resonates with you, if you think, oh, wow, I've had that in my relationship too, then go ahead and give us a like and some hearts as well. So let's just shower her with love. And that's what we're going to do this morning. We're going to shower with love. So let me go ahead and bring her on. Hello. Hi,
Hello.
Judy.
Hi.
Welcome. So excited to have you here. Thank you so much for spending the time here this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I remember speaking with you at the end of May because you were concerned with the distance in your marriage. So can you share with the ladies here just kind of the beginning? Take us back to the beginning of what was the reason that you were looking to get help in your marriage?
Yeah. First, my husband and I have been married for 40 years, and we have the benefit of being good friends. And we had fallen into the space of just being housemates. We had some family trauma a few years back. I had gone on to get some counseling and so forth and was moving past that. But we just emotionally had never reconnected after that. And it was to the point where we were, having small talk at dinner time and then sitting across I was in a chair across the room. He was on the couch staring at the television at night. And that was pretty much the context of our marriage. And, a kiss goodbye in the morning, and that was it. And I was beginning to feel resentful and kind of, the emotional walls were going up because I wasn't getting any emotional feelings from him. And I honestly, I don't know if I even ever shared this with Stacy, honestly wondering if I still loved him.
Mm. Mm. Ooh, let's just take a breath right there.
Yeah.
Whew, I can feel that. Yeah. Yeah. And I think anyone that's watching today can relate to that. Like I felt that because I know that feeling. It's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, because I know how difficult it is to reach out for help and to, we have this stigma that we shouldn't ask for help or that we feel a little bit guilty for asking for help. So I'm curious, what are some of the things that you've tried in the past? Because clearly this is not a brand new relationship. So
No.
I'm sure there's been some things that you've tried in the past. I'd love to hear what those were.
I've tried. I've always been, the generator of, getting, assistance for us, and, either reading, or we've done couples retreats, either through church or some self-help group. We've done pastoral counseling. We did a Bible study through our church, and they've all helped for a period of time, but nothing really long lasting.
Right, right. Okay. And so when you and I spoke in May, and we had our first, conversations, I know that we chatted a little bit in Messenger, and I asked you some questions there. And then I invited you onto a call so that we could do what we're doing right now, have kind of a face-to-face conversation. Tell me a little bit about that experience, if there was any kind of reservations that you might have had before that. What was that experience like?
Um, well, I'm a registered nurse too, so nurses and doctors make the worst patients. We always think we have all the answers for ourselves,
Yeah.
but quite honestly, I'm like, okay, so where's the secret sauce? And you
Mhm.
know, I've been, what I was thinking was, there's an investment, and I did have some concern about opening up in a group
Mhm.
and, talking to other women about concerns and so forth. And then, what would be different, and where would the gain be in the process that I haven't tried yet,
Mhm.
and
Right.
it's so those are the pieces that I was kind of wrestling with. But I've experienced your training in other ways, because I've worked with coaching before, but not through training for couples relationship. And
Right.
so it was a trust leap, and
Yeah. Yes.
certainly, it was something that was dear to my heart that I was not ready to give up. I really
Mhm.
wanted to turn this around. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm grateful that you not only trusted me, but also trusted yourself and backed yourself.
hmm
because that's so important,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about what is it like being in the Wise Woman Mastermind? What is it like being in a group? Like you said, you had some
Mm-hmm.
hesitancies with sharing in a group, right? It's something different to have kind of a one-to-one conversation privately with the coach.
Yeah.
And then it's something completely different when we come together with a group. So share what that experience has been like.
I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the weekly calls. The women that come together all are so like-minded, and although we have different situations and scenarios and areas of working, together, we also come together and can all get real about
Mm,
what our struggles are. And
yeah,
you, Stacy, are so approachable and can really laser down our coaching needs, not only in the calls on the coaching, but in the private sessions as well. Get to the meat of the issues and get the
yeah,
insights and so forth. It's made a huge difference, uh,
yeah.
in how I see myself approaching my interactions with my husband and members of my family, to be honest.
Right. Good. So tell us a little bit about that. I know that, when we first began, so why don't you just tell us a little bit about, as you kind of dove into the pillars into the relationship restoration vault,
Mhm.
what were some of the ahas that you noticed right away? And then of course we want to get to the transformation, but I just kind of want to know, like, what were some of those clicks? You said some, I want to know what the secret sauce was before.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let's
yeah.
let's share some of that secret sauce of, like, what were those click things you went, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, the first was, the appreciation conversation with your
Mm,
spouse, and how to literally talk to my husband after 40 years, and that, thinking like a man, and what his thoughts might be and how I approach my conversations. I had just left corporate work, and I had a very masculine mentality myself. Though I'm
mm,
a woman, I spoke like a woman and didn't think like a man.
yeah.
So I came on very strong,
Hmm.
and um, just rethinking that. So one of the first big things that I shared was my husband was going through some medical issues and he wouldn't talk to me.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I just, in changing the wording and saying to him, how I felt and what it meant to me to hear from him. He hadn't talked to me in 6 months about his medical condition, and that opened up that one sentence. The man didn't stop talking for 10 minutes.
Oh, oh, let's just take a pause right there. Let's just hold on for that. And we're
Yeah.
talking about like a deeper conversation, right? We're not just
Yes.
talking
Yes.
about the
It was his
everyday kind of things.
emotions and how
Yes.
worried he had been, and what his
Mm,
thoughts were about upcoming procedures and so forth, that he had just held in because I hadn't known how to ask the question.
yeah. Oh, that's so good. I
Yeah,
love hearing that.
yeah,
That just makes me so excited. It brings
yeah.
me back to that moment that you were first sharing that. So
Hmm.
wonderful,
The
right?
other
So for,
was,
yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
working in the yard together, and thanking him for the different tasks and duties and things that he had done that day. And they were small things, helping me with weeding and moving some heavy things that I couldn't do, and just showing appreciation each time. And about after the fourth time, he stopped me and said, "You don't have to thank me for doing things."
Mm,
He says, "I like us working together and I like spending time with you." So it
wow.
just, that started the conversations and the appreciation, and it began to light myself up.
Yeah. Mm. This is great. So we started like opposite ends of the room and the couch, not a lot of communication, right? And this is in a short period of time. So I want to,
Yes, weeks, just a
this
few weeks.
few, yeah. So in a few weeks, you went from, I'm not really sure if I still
Mhm.
love you, to having a deeper conversation about a medical procedure, something that's really, can be very concerning,
Right.
right? I remember how concerned you were, and you're like, he's not even talking. And then all of a sudden, switch. Yeah.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Wonderful. What have been some of the other bigger transformations that you've noticed? I think, this it's so great to see how this can have a ripple effect, not
Mm,
just in our romantic relationships, but the basis of everything is relationships, right?
exactly.
Friendships,
Um,
businesses, family, extended family.
exactly. My daughter and a significant other live relatively close to us, and we really had a need to have a sit down conversation that had been a difficult interaction for a long time. And you provided a wonderful tool for having meetings. And I really dreaded this meeting for a long, long time. I anticipated, yelling and foul language and just a horrible interaction. And I remember getting, messaging you afterwards, and it was like angels were singing at this meeting because there were, it went so smoothly. Having things prescribed out, and agenda, and everyone knowing the flow, and having kind of a conversation with my husband so we were on the same page beforehand. And this meeting was so easy. Um, and even my daughter and her significant other made the comment that they dreaded the meeting and that it had been better than any other family meeting that they had been to. So it really opened up a relationship with my daughter and her family as well. So my teenage grandson, 13 years old, he's an up and coming man, and it
Yeah.
changed how I speak to him as well.
Mm. Yeah. Oh, that's so important. I love everything about that, because I know that everyone listening has been in a family meeting, right? Or an intervention,
Mhm.
or a confrontation, or something
Yeah,
like that, where we're like, there's like nothing about this is enjoyable, but you know that you have to communicate
right.
about something,
Yes.
especially if you have something that's bothering you and you're
Hmm.
not sure how to resolve it. So I love
Right.
that you were able to navigate that with such ease, especially since you didn't really think it was going to be going so well in the beginning. So
Right. And the key
wonderful.
to that, and I didn't mention before, was your input and reminder to me to come at this not from the former corporate Judy, who was
Mhm.
very forceful and goal oriented, and this is the way, but to come at it from mom
Yeah.
in a place of love. And
Yeah.
that was huge. That was so huge.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Coming from a place of love. It's really where I operate from,
Hmm.
naturally. And that's what I built the program on. And it's what everything, here in the Wise Woman is built on, is how can we lift each other up? How can
Right.
we help each other, coming from a place of love, because sometimes we have to have difficult conversations.
Yeah.
It's pain is unavoidable in life, right? It just is.
Absolutely.
Whether you are a mom that has a soccer player or a football player, like there's pain in sports, there's pain in life, right? But how can we make
Hmm.
this pain? We don't want to completely avoid it, because if you had avoided that difficult conversation, like
Yeah.
it would have been a completely different situation of where you're at right now. So
Mm-hmm.
because of that one decision that you made, not to avoid the pain, but to approach it from a place of love, using the tools that we provided, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then entering into that, a completely different outcome.
Yes. And even ripple effects since that meeting have been considerations they have taken to, for the audience. They live next door, and there were issues with noises and space occupation, and they've been doing wonderful things with their yard and keeping their dogs quiet and so forth. So I'm preemptively without being asked. So
Okay. Yeah. So a lot of consideration. Yes. So who's here having value, finding value, whether you're listening live or on the replay? Type value if you're finding this valuable, and if you could relate to this. Any other transformations that you've noticed or that you want to share with us?
let me think. Um, I will share that my family has noticed that I'm much calmer and at ease. I'm not as reactive. And I
Mm,
think that in big part is related to the pillar on conflict management
hmm
and um, just stepping back and thinking through the steps of how do I want to react to things.
right.
And
Yeah.
that has been huge. And what is it worth? What's the cost of reacting and so forth. So
hmm
that my
Absolutely.
husband, I'd
And what
mentioned
has your
this.
husband said?
I
I want to
mentioned,
hear, I want to
well, I
hear about
mentioned
that.
this interview to him, and I said, what do you think? Have you noticed anything? He says, oh yeah. He says, I think we're getting along quite, a lot better. We're talking more and we're doing more things together. And so he's seeing the value as well. And I notice in myself that my walls are falling and that
Mm,
I don't have to be that hard and tough person anymore. That I can go back to the soft and tender woman I was before.
mm. Oh, that's so beautiful. That shift, right? That's that shift from
Yes,
that
yes.
masculine having to protect yourself, having to feel like you have to do it all on your own,
Hmm.
putting up that wall, and now with
Hmm.
it, the wall being down, you're able to
Right.
step into that softer, more tender, more feminine place.
Yeah,
And it
and
sounds like your husband's responding quite well.
he is. And even yesterday, we're doing a lot of yard work, and that's something we enjoy doing together. And I was digging a small hole for a plant, and I could have finished it, but he came over and he says, do you need some help? And I thought about it for a second, and I said, probably. And I let him finish digging the hole. And I thought, let's step back, Judy, because he has much better upper body strength than you do. And he went about 3 shovelfuls. He had the hole dug for me. But that knowing that that's him wanting to help, wanting to serve me, and stepping
Yeah.
back from my ego that no, I can, I'm a strong woman, I can do it myself, and
hmm
just letting him do it.
Yes, yes. So who here is listening has problems or has difficulty, challenges, whatever you want to call it, with receiving when someone
Yes.
asks or someone offers to help you? Do you have like that, oh no, I can do it myself. I gotta do all the things. Keep in mind that what that's about is
Mhm.
really proving your worth, and there's that, it keeps that protection and that wall up, and it also takes the gift away from someone else
Yeah.
wanting to
Yeah.
wanting to give, right? And so look at that simple thing. Judy could have done it. She's fully capable. I have full faith in you, Judy, that you could have dug that hole. But that wasn't the point. The point was that he was asking, right? He was wanting to participate, and you were recognizing that. So that's fantastic.
Yes.
I love it. So as we're wrapping up, for any of the ladies that are thinking of joining or of getting help or have questions or have maybe been kind of watching from afar, maybe they're implementing some of the trainings like you did and doing things
Mhm.
here and there and getting some results, but not really feeling like they're in that place where they can have the wall down and they can really deeply connect and have good conversations. What would you like to share with them?
I, you know, it seems like May seems like so far away. When you said May, I'm like, really?
Well, it was the end of May, actually. So it's
Yeah,
been very short. Yes.
yeah, yeah, end of May. So let's say June and July, and that is very short period of time. That the group is in the training has really been transformative for me and for my family and my marriage. And um, it's not common for me to say this, but I have felt a spark reignite in my marriage for my
Mm.
husband. And whether you've been married for 4 years or 40 years, like us, it's so worth the investment in time. There is so many nuggets. I can't even start to talk about all the wonderful things that you have to offer in this program. So thank you.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. It's been an absolute honor, and I can't wait to even see what's next for you in your relationship.
Yes.
And I know we're working on a couple other things that we'll
Hmm.
be working on this Wednesday. So, ladies, if you want to join us, you can join us afterwards. And I'm going to be staying on Zoom. You can ask me questions. I know it didn't alert the same way because I did it in Zoom versus Facebook. And so sometimes it works a little bit different, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop the link into the Facebook. And I'm going to do that here just for a moment. I can't drop it in the chat because it's on live. So let me go ahead and drop it here in the Facebook live here. And I'm going to end the recording because I don't want it to be recorded. So I want to be able to, well, it's not recorded in Zoom, but right now what I want to be able to do is I'm going to pop that into the Facebook group, and then you can go ahead and jump on. But I am going to stop zooming in so that we can, you can go ahead and have some privacy. So I'm curious, as I'm doing that, what are some of the things, type in the chat, what are some of the things that you related to when you heard Judy's story? And what are you taking away from this? I'd love to hear about that. Type in the chat if you can see that. And let me go ahead. I'm going to try to do that really quick here. I think I'm going to do it on my phone because it's not working here. Technology. Yes. All right, let's do that. All right, I think I've got it there in the chat. I think I've put that there as well. So if you're joining us and you're listening to the replay and you're thinking, oh gosh, bummer, I missed out. I wanted to be able to join the Q&A. Maybe you didn't get notified. Maybe your Monday morning is just a little bit more challenging. That's okay as well. You can type chat in below the video, and I will be happy to connect with you afterwards. Ask you some questions like I did with Judy, in Messenger, just to see if I can answer some questions with you about the Wise Woman Mastermind, to see if that's a good fit for you. I'm running this special that we have all the way through the end of this week. And so you will see some different things as well there. And then I'll invite you to have a conversation, just like I did with Judy. And you can have a conversation. We can see if it's a good fit for you. And if it's not a good fit, here's the deal. I'm going to say, you know what? I think there's something different that would be a better fit for you. My goal, just like with Judy, my goal is to be able to help you to fix that one thing, find that special nugget, find that secret sauce, whatever it is that you feel like you're missing. I want to be able to help you to find that, whether it's here in the Wise Woman Mastermind with us, or whether it's an outside source. I've got a lot of different contacts and I do referrals all the time. So that's what I'd love to be able to offer to you, is to say yes to that next step, whatever that is. But don't struggle on your own. Don't feel like you're by yourself or that no one else can relate. That's why I brought Judy on today, so that you can see, it's nice to be able to see someone go, okay, it's working for her and it can work for you as well. So I'd love to be able to invite you to do that. Thank you so much, Judy, for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and end this, and then I'll go ahead and start up as people are popping onto the Zoom, I'll go ahead and do that as well. So thanks, Judy, for joining us. Thanks, ladies that are seeing this live or on the replay. Give her some love if you're listening to that. Say hello, and we'll connect on Wednesday, Judy.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.